Yes, we're back with another rider, another episode. Today we have the lovely Nana in the house, all the way from Ghana. She has dual citizenship, she's been telling me. And she was asking me questions about life in Kenya. She's from the other side of Africa, the Ghanaian side, West African side. So I thought it would be a great time to answer the questions while being recorded. So nice to have you here today, Nana.
Thank you for having me.
That's good. So what questions do you have for me today?
How is life in Kenya like?
In what sense?
In terms of, the livelihood, your day-to-day activity, relating to people?
Well, my day-to-day activities, when I first got there, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And I was introduced, I ended up there because I was working on a ship stopping the pirates hijacking the vessels.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So we used to berth there, as in the ship used to park there for the layman's terms. And so I was really hiding it.
I'm hiding it.
Yeah. And what happened from there is I saw a lot of business opportunities. And yeah, I saw business opportunities, and basically it was like this. I looked at it and said, you know what, everything that's in England within reason is going to need to be in Kenya,
Yeah.
or Africa as a whole. And it's like I have a crystal ball because I come in birth from England.
Okay.
So I know what we have. And also I know what works. I just have to consider that the cultural mindset is different. Now, in saying that, Kenya has 42 different tribes. And they do have sub-tribes as well.
Yeah.
And every tribe does their thing either extremely different or slightly different.
Yeah.
You know. And you've got to understand that. So when you're doing business, but what you do have, they have a like West Africa, from my understanding,
Yes.
they have a love for everything Western. So if you can sell something as a Western theme, they will grab it with both hands and run with it. And that's where I started to look at, okay, what businesses would be a good idea to set up here?
Kenya.
Yes. And I looked at it and I thought, well, let's go and live with the people, because the everyday people. I could have gone and lived in a wealthier area, but I chose, no, let me go and live in let's say their working class area, but their working class area is
not the village or
no, it wasn't a village. It wasn't because I was in Mombasa.
Okay.
And Mombasa is the second biggest
City.
in Kenya, but Mombasa is not very big at all. It takes time to get from one side to the other. That's just because of bad infrastructure.
Yeah.
But generally, it's not big. It's really, really not big.
Yeah.
You know, if we laid a good road down there, I would argue it'd probably take half an hour to get from one side to the other, if that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just looked at, I want to stay with the poor working class people, and somewhere in these flats that were, you could say, the flats in appearance were nice, but there was, my background's also commercial construction.
Yeah.
So I looked at it and I said, well, I could see problems with their construction methods. And it usually stems down to people not understanding how to build houses and things.
Maintenance as well.
Yeah, and there's maintenance, and there's also things like damp-proof coursing, which is a big issue. People don't understand. And obviously, there's good construction methods out there, but I didn't really see that in Mombasa. Nairobi's the capital, so that's somewhat different. That's a different beast, a different story in that respect.
So did you see that as a business opportunity as well, to help with construction of the flat or to maintain the flat?
Well, to tell you the truth, I did. I looked at it, and my original project, I was going to do building houses in Africa.
Yeah.
And where I was going to build houses in Africa, we had an agreed with a local lady. She's a Kikuyu lady. They called her a mama because she is elderly.
Yeah.
and she owned a big plot of a slum, massive. It's like the slum was like the size of 2 or 3 square blocks of housing, like a blocks, what Americans would call the blocks. And people and the idea was she would invest the land, I would bring the money, I would oversee the construction being built. We're going to build 35 units, so that's 35 flats in one block, and then we're going to sell them on plan. And so by the time we finished, before we finish that, building all those flats, they're all sold, and then we can start building on another section.
Okay. Do you mind me asking, how are you going to get funding for the building? I know she was going to provide the land.
Well, I had money.
Okay.
I had been working on ships for 5 years, stopping the pirates hijacking the vessels. I'd been earning money. I also was willing to sell my flat in England to help contribute to there.
To the project.
Yeah, to the project. Now I was going to, for legitimacy, I was going to take some of the local banks' money as well, because they have this policy. If you had over 5 million shillings, which is about £50,000, they would lend you another 5 million. Yeah, and stuff like that, because they know you've got it anyway. There's a lot of things to learn from what I'm saying here for myself as well. Now you speak about it. But that was a plan. But the lady had a brother, and the brother was the one who introduced the architect to me. Or the architect introduced the brother to me, the lady to me, and the brother came and got in the middle. Now, this is where you need to understand cultural mindset. And I wouldn't just say cultural mindset. There is also, obviously everybody's an individual, but there are traits with this. Now, I did say they were Kikuyu, and for the Kikuyus out there, I'm not slandering you lot, I'm just telling you from my own experience. I have to put that disclaimer out there because...
But
no, I'm not worried about being cancelled. I'm 47, I've got no worries about what people are thinking. I'm just putting out things as a fact. So he wanted to be in the business still. Because he brought his sister to... Now, his sister was a widow. So originally it was her husband's land, as traditionally, you know, the men have all the land and the women thing. But this was interesting because the mama inherited the land. Now in certain tribes, women can never inherit anything. And so their thing was different. The mama had the land and all of that, which was good. And you know, this man came to me one day, sat down in the office, and he said to me, I tell you what we do. Can you tell me how much you will pay me? And I said to him, well, what do you mean? He said, well, I want to be in the project, so how much?
An architect.
No, he's not an architect. He's just a brother. Yeah, so the architect I know. I know the architect through another lady. Yeah. The architect came to me. He's the youngest architectural practice in the country. He was, and he's based around the corner from their equivalent of Houses of Parliament. So he knew politicians and various different people. So he introduced me to the mama, and then the brother decided when he heard about it, he wanted. So the brother
was not doing anything.
He wasn't doing anything. He just wanted to try and make some money. He's that family member that everybody loves, but they wish they didn't have. You could say, to put it nicely. So he said, well, yeah, you must tell me what I'm going to get. So I said to him, well, surely you're going to sort that out with your sister. And he said, well, no, I need to know from you. And I said to him, okay, well, look at it like this. We're going to build these 35 units. We're going to sell them 5 to 7 million shillings each. So that's maybe $50,000 to $70,000 each. That was at that time. So you're talking like 10 years ago, maybe a bit more, to be honest. So I said, we're going to do that. Your sister decides she wants to have 2 of those flats. So she wants to have actually 3. She wants to live in one and rent the other 2. So that means I'm going to sell her those
Yeah,
flats
yeah.
at the local rate.
Okay.
At the rate. So if it's $70,000 each, that's free. 140 is 210,000.
Okay.
She's gonna have to give me, but then after it's gonna be half of that because it's 50-50 in the deal.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
But she's gonna have to give me my section.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, but what will I get? And I said, well, all right, look at it like this. Imagine I tell you you can get a flat. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's going to come from your sister's side because
Yeah,
you're her.
that's fair.
You're her clan.
That's fair.
When I go, what will happen? Your sister will take me to court and say, you gave one of your properties to the brother and you refused to give the sister the other 3 properties. You're only giving her 2.
Yeah.
Now I will say to the judge, yeah, but judge, that's what he came to me and talked. And he said, did you have a contract with him?
Yeah. Because he's not even privy to the original contract.
Thank you.
In the first place.
So, and I said, all the judge will tell me is I have to give one of my own properties to your sister and I'm out of pocket. And then he went quiet.
Exactly.
Now, I could have said to him, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll allow you to supply the building materials, so you'll make money through that. But I could see that in my eyes, he wasn't a good person.
No, he was going to dupe you.
So I sat there and then he went, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. He kept on saying that. And I didn't say anything. I just looked at him. I said, okay. And then when I went back to the architect turned around and said, he said, you're stupid. You should have told him that you'll give him 5 million verbally and then just got on with the business deal. And then you could have told him, oh, so that can't happen again at the end. No, he could.
But he knows how to deal with these people, so that was.
Yeah, but now if you hear what the architect was like this. He actually turned around and said, well, we need to sign. It was a letter of intention, memorandum of understanding, letter of intention, and what we'll do, we will get some building machines, diggers, to dig around the soil and do all this and do that. We kick off all the shantytown people very quickly, and then if the mama decides to pull out, we will go to court and say, well, we put loads of money in those groundworks already, and therefore we need her to sell her land or give us a percentage of the land, or we say we put in, let's say her land was worth $1 million, we say, well, we did $1 million worth of groundworks in that, and labour and the taxes we got to pay, so we're going to take her land from her. And I looked at that and I said, and I thought to myself, you're willing to do this to an old woman, because clearly we weren't going to do that. He said, I know some politicians, I know some business people and lawyers, and they will write up what we have to, as long as we give them a fee.
Performance and law, just a little bit of education.
Yeah.
That's specific.
Thank you. So what I'm saying, what I looked at that was, you're not the person I need to be in bed with in this situation. Because if you could do that to an old woman who's of your nation, of your nation, only God knows only what you do to me, who's
a foreigner.
Well, no, I wouldn't even say a friend, so a business associate. So anyway, he used to, I kind of just knocked that on the head, but he used to come to me all the time and say, yeah, what about this deal, what about that? He's always, and what he'd done, he'd introduced me to so many different people that everybody looked like him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because in Kenya, as in many countries in Africa, tribe comes first.
That's true.
So he introduced me to all of his business associates or people he knows, but they were all his tribe. Well, that may not seem like anything. It may seem like what the Indians do, what the Jewish do, what those things do. But what my argument is, you're not trying to get me the best people. You're just trying to keep the money in-house. And I wouldn't be surprised if you asked all those people for a commission for introducing me to them if I was going to do business with them. Therefore, I'm paying extra money for things I don't really need or I could have found myself. And what I learned from that is as a saying, you hire quickly and hire slowly and fire quickly. And it's the same thing in business. you take time to establish yourself in business with people.
Mm.
There's no rush.
At all, yeah.
There's no rush because you've got everything to lose.
That's true.
Yeah, and even if the business opportunity goes, it's better it goes. Yeah, then you lost out everything that you had at the start.
Yeah.
And obviously you fire quickly. So if you realise this is not the person who you thought they were, then just run. Just cut your losses. Don't start trying to think, hang in there just to see this or see that. No.
You use like serious discernment. You really have like serious discernment, because it would I feel like for another person it would probably have taken them some time to discern that this guy was not like legit, or even if he was cutthroat, you made a good observation that he was just introducing you to his people. So that was a good discernment on your part.
So, thanks. So what I did, I had a gym.
Yeah.
I started a gym when I was out there, and where I started the gym, it was like he used to come down and say, "Oh, your gym's not making money down here. Why don't you move it to Nairobi? I can find you a good patch."
Wow.
Yeah.
Like some middle, I don't know, middleman kind of.
Yeah, but this is how some people operate. This is how some people survive.
Yeah.
They always they want easy money. Let me introduce you to somebody, and then I say, you give me, so you're going to look after me for introducing you to that person.
Yeah.
And you say to the other person, can you look after me? You get paid both things. If you can't put your name in a contract or anything, you walk away with a load of money and you just introduce two people.
Yeah.
And you don't care if it's in my interest.
That's true.
Or anything. Is it a good rate or what do you think? And these are the things you need to be aware of. Now, I haven't done business in England on the scale I've done business in Africa. So I can't say this is only subject to East Africa from my experience, because I understand I've got many stories on my podcast, Africa Investor Stories, for those who are listening, and it's on YouTube, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And
promote it.
And I've even heard of things like this in England. But the difference is, and what I would say to anybody who's interested in investing in England is, in Africa, is don't let people do for you what you can easily do yourself. And that's what I mean when it comes to documentation, verifying things. People say, I'll go to the local council, they call it the municipal in Kenya, and sort this out. Well, no, I will go. And one of the things that the government makes it really difficult, corruption really easy for things out there, is because they don't put the laws on their website. They need to have the government website.
A lot of people are not abreast with the laws.
So the laws should be on there, so people who want to invest know what the laws are, know what the thing, and they should be paying directly to the government. The problem was, you would go and pay the local municipal person, and they would only say, well, let's say they're checking your documentation. Well, I had a situation where I was in the gym, and they're checking, and I had all my certificates. They wouldn't give me my music license, so you can play music in the gym, unless I paid another fee to them privately.
Wow.
Yeah. Do you understand?
Yeah.
But this also, it comes down to who you know.
That's true.
Now, if you get loyal staff, the staff are local. So you will find out who knows. It turns out one of the staff is related to the local policeman. Another person knows the mayor's secretary, related to mayor's secretary. Do you understand? So you can navigate your way around these things. It may seem annoying.
That's how it is in Africa. Like
it's how it is in many parts of the world.
Especially in Africa, even like with businesses and stuff, a lot of people have made their successes through people that they know. That's how it is.
Yeah. So these are the things I've had to navigate and stuff. It's been a very interesting conversation with you.
It has.
I hope it's been insightful. Is there?
Very insightful.
We've got. Well, it's bringing back memories. Have you got any last questions? You've got 4 minutes that you want to ask.
Do you feel like living there was fulfilling?
I put it this way: in England, you have walls and barriers and fences everywhere. When I was in Kenya, I used to take I had my gym, and I used to take the clients on a hike. And I used to get a compass out, being ex-military, and I used to say, okay, we're going to walk on this bearing, and we could walk straight for 30 miles.
Wow.
Not a fence, it's like the land is just as God made it.
It's just bare.
It's not bare, there's wildlife, there's rivers you have to cross, there's all these different things, but you set a sense of freedom. And one of the things I really loved is that no one had a letterbox. You don't have a letterbox. That means no one's chasing you with bills and all of these things. And there's a lot of freedom. I do like the fact that you get to build your own house. You buy land, you build your house. That's great in that respect. But we've come to the end of the journey now.
Thank you. This was very insightful.
Thanks a lot for doing the interview.
Thank you.
And I wish you well.
Wish you well too.
We hope that episode enhanced your life. We post an interview every day, as well as vlogging on our social media channels. Don't forget to subscribe to get our latest episode.